If you found a bag stuffed with more money than you've ever seen in your life, what would you do? Walk away with it. Look over your shoulder and call it a blessing. David, an airport cleaner earning barely enough to survive, faced this exact situation, and what he did left me and everyone else speechless. It was a quiet afternoon at the airport when David, going about his usual rounds with a mop and bucket, noticed a fancy bag tucked under a chair near one of the gates. It didn't look like trash, so he picked it up, thinking someone must have forgotten it. Curiosity got the better of him, and when he unzipped it just a bit to check for identification, his breath caught in his chest. The bag was full of foreign currency, neatly stacked bundles that would have been a life-changing fortune for someone like him. David didn't hesitate. He zipped the bag back up, his hands shaking slightly, and walked straight to the airport security office. He didn't call attention to himself, didn't tell anyone what he'd found, just handed the bag over and explained where he'd picked it up. The security staff were stunned when they opened it. This wasn't just a small sum of money, it was enough to make headlines. There were also passports and important documents inside, which meant this wasn't just about the cash. Someone's entire trip, maybe even their life plans, depended on getting this bag back. Meanwhile, David quietly went back to his cleaning duties, as if nothing had happened. The owner of the bag, an elderly man who'd been in transit, was already frantic by the time airport security contacted him. He'd realized his bag was missing during a layover and was convinced it was gone forever. When he arrived back at the airport and saw the bag, completely untouched, he broke down in tears. What struck everyone was that nothing was missing. Not a single note, not a single document. The man was overwhelmed with gratitude, repeatedly asking to meet the person who had turned it in. When David was called to the office, he looked shy and a little embarrassed by all the attention. The elderly man hugged him tightly, thanking him over and over again. David just smiled and said, "It wasn't mine to take. I'm glad you got it back." But the story didn't end there. Someone in the airport staff posted the story online, and it spread like wildfire. People couldn't believe that someone in David's position, someone who barely made enough to cover his basic needs, would pass up the chance to keep so much money. News outlets picked it up, both locally and internationally, and before long, David became a hero. The airport management organized a ceremony to honor him, presenting him with a certificate of recognition and a cash reward. A local charity stepped in and offered to sponsor his education, while several organizations sent in gifts and donations. One of the most touching moments came when the elderly man, now back in his home country, arranged a video call to thank David again. Through the screen, he introduced David to his family and said, "You've shown my children what true honesty looks like. You didn't just return my bag, you restored my faith in people." David's life changed after that day. He became more than just the guy cleaning floors, he became a symbol of integrity. But if you asked him about it, he'd just shrug and say, "I only did what was right. That's all." For me, witnessing this story unfold was humbling. It reminded me that integrity doesn't just pay, it inspires. David didn't gain wealth from that bag, but what he gained instead was worth far more: respect, recognition, and a legacy that will live on in the hearts of everyone who hears his story. If you like this video, share and subscribe for more videos. Share and subscribe for more stories. Thank you.